Each one of these representatives will get 90 seconds to 2 minutes to just kind of briefly mention 2 bills that you want to pass and maybe something that you are like very much against, okay? Does that make sense? 2 bills you want to pass, 1 bill you want to kill, okay? And then it's all Q&A. We will have a mic. You will have to come up to the mic. You'll be given 20 seconds to ask your question, okay? No long diatribes. We want to hear your question. You can direct it to a specific state rep, or you can just ask it generically, and they can, if they feel like answering it, we'll let whoever wants to answer. It could be more than one, it could be one, whatever. Okay? Does that make sense? We'll just go straight down the road. You're up first. Oh, never mind, Stephanie Klick, ladies first.
Thank you. Great to be with everybody here tonight. A couple of things that I'm working on for next session are some CPS reforms. Also some election reforms. I served as the ballot security chairperson for the state party, and so I got calls from all over the state on election day. And we've got some processes that need to be tightened up and cleaned up. So I am working on that along with some suggestions that Aaron Harris has uncovered through the course of his investigation. One of the other things I'm working on is a ban in Texas to dismemberment abortions.
Yes.
Yes.
The other things that I'm working on with President Trump, we have an opportunity to get rid of Obamacare. But it is not something that's going to happen overnight, folks. And there will be things that we will have to do as a state to put things in place so that when that happens, that we have free market solutions for health care in Texas that were taken away when Obamacare passed. I've been working on that over a year, and there are a number of things that are included in that. We need to make access to quality health care available, and I've got a bill that will also do that I'm not quite ready to talk about yet, but that will be filed as well. So,
A bill you want to kill?
A bill I want to kill.
Not Zedler.
I would greatly like to kill any efforts that would try to expand Medicaid in Texas.
Good.
That's a non-starter. I went to New Mexico for vacation this summer, and while I was there, the New Mexico legislature was meeting at the resort we were staying in. And right now, due to Medicaid expansion in that state, half of the state of New Mexico is on Medicaid. Half. And they are in dire financial straits because once the match drops, then the state is going to have to pick up the gap. And both Democrats and Republicans agree that this is not a sustainable model.
So on Wednesday, I will be filing again my bill for constitutional carry in the state of Texas.
Yes.
That is my #1 priority, is to get a record vote on that issue. And then my next one that I will say, all of us are working on a lot, so 2 is difficult. But I look forward to getting rid of the DREAM Act and getting rid of in-state college tuition for illegals. I think it's time to put our kids first. I think it's time to turn off the magnets that are attracting folks here illegally. That has to be part of the solution to border security, is turning off those free handouts. And that has just been, dollar-wise, it's not that as much as you would think here in Texas, but it has become such an iconic thing for illegal immigration. And so we'll be doing that. 1 bill to kill is just like impossible for me to pick. I have really become passionate about an issue because a lot of people aren't, but it's a religious liberty issue for me. And I look forward to stopping Jason Villalba's attempt to get rid of exemptions for vaccinations. I think that you should have the right to pick what goes in your body, and government should not be able to mandate any of that. And so I look forward to attacking those, but I assure you there will be more than one bill that dies. Mrs. Waters.
Yeah, well, bills we filed today, two of them are Second Amendment / 10th Amendment bills, making sure the federal government does not intrude on Second Amendment rights for Texans, which now that we have a Republican president, I think we don't need to stop asserting our 10th Amendment rights. We need to push them further and make sure people didn't see that as just a partisan effort, but it's principled. And so we're going to keep moving at that, make sure the federal government knows not to get involved in Texas's regulation of firearms. So we'll be doing that. We filed a bill also on the immigration side for enforcing detainers. In Texas, we've got a problem before of those who are in the country illegally, who've committed crimes, coming in before a judge, and they have a detainer on them from the federal department, from ICE, and we don't enforce those, and we know that some of those individuals have been gone and committed more crimes, some more heinous than others. And so we want to make it where it's a guaranteed you have to enforce the detainer if that's on there until the federal authorities, now under Republican control, can come in and get them so that they don't do any more harm to our country. We're also doing a lot on preparedness, whether that's grid security, cyber security, economic security, so we have a bill for that, creating a commission to study that. So those are a couple of the things we're working on. In terms of what I want to kill, there's so many, as Jonathan said, you don't know which ones yet, but for me, any piece of legislation that seeks to put a new licensing regime in place, that seeks to be a barrier into the workforce for small businesses or others, I think we have to be very vigilant on that. Texas does great on a lot of things. Over licensing and regulation is something we do very poorly. So we need to continue to push back against that. So if you're seeking to license things or over-regulate things, that's one of the things that I'm going to be really cognizant about.
I might be better looking than they are, but I can't remember as well, so I had to take notes. So I'll start off the other way around. Something that we're going to kill is pretty much anything that costs you money, that regulates more of what you do, and that does anything that takes away any of your liberties. We're going to do a lot of bill killing, so we're probably not going to do a lot of bill passing. But some of the things that we've authored that we're going to hand off. Protect the Power Grid bill, I authored that last session. It wasn't real popular until about Christmas Day, and then it hit Fox News. It is in almost every legislature across the country. The fortunate thing is that I think we have a really good host for that bill that can get it passed. And Texas owns about 86% of our own power grid, so we can secure Texas, and we're going to work really hard to do that. Something that we've talked to the governor and lieutenant governor about, and we're trying to get buy-in. I think we've talked to the attorney general, and it sounds like it's constitutional. The people that want to come and vote and fill out an affidavit and say that they're legal and that they get to vote, I want to collect their fingerprints and run it, because statewide we have a law that already says that we can check fingerprints for identification purposes only, and so I want them to have to prove it. So 2 pro-life bills. One we know isn't going to go anywhere. We're going to go out on a limb, and we talked to some organizations. I'm going to go ahead and author an anti-abortion bill, period. It probably isn't going to pass. I'm going to put it out there, and we're going to talk about it. The other thing that I think we can potentially get passed, Oklahoma, we found out after I came up with this idea, authored it, and the governor vetoed it. The House and Senate passed it. We're in charge of licensing in this state, and if a doctor performs an abortion, I don't want to renew their license in the state of Texas. And then the last 2 things is welfare, Medicare, and Medicaid audit. Got the idea from Illinois and all places. And they did it, and they saved tens of millions of dollars the first year. It's an audit to make sure that people that are supposed to get it are getting it. And then lastly is a lot of people are calling this kind of crazy, but I kind of want to replicate something that Tim O'Hare did. If you can't, I don't want you to be able to buy, lease, or rent a place to lay your head. I don't want you to buy anything with wheels or a motor, and I don't want you to be able to use a hospital unless it's life, limb, or eyesight, if you can't prove that you're a citizen of this state and this country.
Mine basically generate around, first of all, I agree with Jonathan. One of the ones that I had put in the past is eliminate in-state tuition for those who are here illegally. The other is increase the penalties for assaulting a police officer. And what we want to do is have it where there's mandatory drug testing to be drawn, any taxpayer-funded benefit.
All right.
And the other one is we've had a real problem with the Texas Medical Board violating people's Fourth Amendment rights by taking in the medical board and getting access to patient records and then handing them over to like DPS officers and I'm sorry, DEA officers and without a warrant. And so my goal is to require a warrant in order to get access to patient records. We've had it where the medical board simply likes to start looking at patient records not because there was a complaint filed against the doctor per se, but in essence simply because they found something like, for instance, you know, in the state of Texas, if you're trying to get treated for Lyme disease and it's going to take longer than 60 days, they're going to go after the doctor that's trying to treat you. And then finally, one of the bills that I want to kill is anything that goes after freedom to access any kind of, like for instance, the Texas Medical Association is trying to make it where you can't see a chiropractor without going to see an MD. I agree with Jonathan. We need to eliminate any attempt to infringe on healthcare freedom by forcing people any kind of mandates for vaccines or any other thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've got so many priorities. They're great priorities, tremendous priorities. Let me tell you, if you guys want details, we got a lot of details, best details ever. We're the pro-life. I'm the pro-life whip replacing Brian Hughes for Texas Right to Life this legislative session. So I'm going to be focused on a lot of pro-life legislation. And passing other people's pro-life bills. In terms of our own legislation, what we plan on introducing, first of all, no business that knowingly hires illegal immigrants should continue to get a business license. Right. We're proposing that bill. It's constitutional under existing Supreme Court precedent and something that we need to pass. Also, we're focused on education as well, especially, this is an issue at Irving ISD. We want to remove the bilingual education mandate for our public schools. Public school districts use English immersion instead of bilingual education. Also, some other things we want to do. Churches should be able to actually provide their own security without running afoul of the state licensing laws. We want to allow churches to do this. We also want to shield business owners from liability for failure to put up a sign banning weapons. So 30-06 sign, if a business owner doesn't put it up, they can't be sued. I know a lot of 30-07 signs popped up because a business is worried about liability. And one bill, if I can kill one bill, gosh, there's so many, but I would say Byron Cook's assault on the First Amendment.
Yeah.
Amen. Byron Cook proposed a bill last session that not only would allow you to be sued if you record your legislator in the Capitol or at his district office, sued for $10,000, but also increased disclosure requirements. Currently, we require disclosure of PACs, candidates, and any organization that coordinates with a candidate. So your government has to disclose. You don't have to disclose. What Byron's bill wanted to do is make you disclose when you engage in political speech. So you have to be transparent. In fact, you have to hire a lawyer probably if you want to say anything about your government. That's wrong, and I'm going to oppose this.
Okay, so if you have a question, if you'll line up, and I'm hoping this isn't going to